Okay. Fire away, man.
You had to know you were borderline right there at the end of the 12 or the top of the last 8.
Right.
I mean, what did you think the committee was going to do?
I'm not surprised at all that this was the team we were going to play. I had a feeling all along, based on the fact that we were a regional match, that would be a great game of interest, which I think is part of what this tournament should be about, allowing for teams to play each other that are close enough regionally where fans can travel. So I had a feeling, Rich, that we were going to end up playing Norfolk State in the first round at home.
You had done a lot of campaigning, however, verbally to get out of the first round, and said on record you thought you were a second-round team. So did you change your opinion on that, or is your opinion still that you thought you were a bye team?
It really doesn't matter anymore what my opinion is. Obviously, I wasn't on the selection committee, and I had very little influence over what their decision is. But what I'm most excited about right now, Rich, and I told our team this morning before we came over, I said, guys, it doesn't matter who we play or where we play. We're one of 20 teams that has an opportunity to win the national championship, and that's what matters most.
What about the notion, because you had said last week, talk about, kind of in your campaign speech about, getting a bye and not playing until December 3rd, 5 games now as opposed to 4. How's that changed the approach?
Well, it's the statement I made is the same for everybody who's got to play in the first round. All 8 teams, all 8 of us would have to win 5 games to win the national championship. And at this point in the year, Dave, because I've been through this before, what matters most is, are you relatively healthy? Do you have an opportunity to play at home? And then the teams that you're playing, what's their health status? And a lot of times in these tournaments, that's what it comes down to. Who's healthy, who's taking care of the football, who's creating turnovers. Those things will be major factors in this tournament. So it's more of a challenge now for all 8 of us, Norfolk State and Old Dominion included, to have to try to win 5. But the other thing I told the team, Dave, before we come over is that all that matters is that we're in. That's the most important thing. And what we've done all year long, Dave, and done a very good job of this, is that the next opponent is the most important opponent. Respect all, fear none. And that's what we'll do this week. Norfolk State is the most important opponent that we played this year. This is the game that matters the most. So this is all we can control right now. And we're in a position now in this tournament where we control our destiny. And that's exciting.
You talked about health. How healthy, any idea how many guys you think you can get back, how healthy you will be come next Saturday?
We'll have the players that played against William and Mary will be there. And then there's a very strong possibility that we're going to have Chad King back and Reggie Owens back. So we're as healthy as I think you can be as a football team at this point in the season. I feel very good about that.
Any way to gauge yet how you talk about obviously not having a bye and having at least some break now. You'll have a couple of weeks.
Right.
How much that helped? Any way to gauge that yet, or you won't know that really until maybe early middle part of this week?
It definitely helped for our team. I could see it last week, Dave, with the fact that after that William and Mary game on Saturday, we didn't go back out on the practice field until Thursday. And I could see it in the players. When we were out practicing on Thursday, I could see how much better they felt physically. And we practiced Thursday and Friday, and now they're going to have, or will have had Saturday, Sunday, and they're going to have Monday off as well. We're not going to practice again until Tuesday. We're going to stick to our normal routine. I'm assuming this is a Saturday game. Does anybody know? Are we playing Norfolk State Saturday or Friday?
I think it's,
I think it's a Saturday.
I thought all the first round games were Saturday, but I didn't see anything said on that announcement. So that being said, if the game's Saturday, we'll stick to our normal routine. And the reason I mentioned that, Dave, is now there's been 2 good breaks for the players in there that we haven't had since August 8th. And that's really important. Now, it would be even better if, from our advantage, if Norfolk State didn't have a bye. But they had the same schedule we did. So you're talking about 2 teams that are probably, both going to be as fresh as they can be going into a game with the fact that everybody else played this past weekend.
do you look at, when, I don't know if you got a chance to sit down and really look at the bracket yet and just how it played out and other, teams with similar records, teams within the conference
Right.
that got in and where they go.
Mhm.
If you feel like that you were, that you caught a break, that you were snubbed, that, I don't know if you have any feelings about, just kind of the way the bracket fell.
Yeah, quite honestly, I'm indifferent to it right now. I don't really care how the rest of the bracket lays out. And all that matters right now is this game that's in front of us, because this is the beauty of this tournament, Dave, is the fact that you win, you move on, you lose, you go home. So that's where that philosophy we've had all year of the next opponent is the most important one will help us right now. And I say that meaning we didn't look beyond Campbell, and then we didn't look beyond Georgia State or Hampton. There was never anything beyond that opponent, and that really helped us this year. I think it was the key reason why we're in this tournament and why we're 6-2 in games decided in the fourth quarter, is because we kept such a good focus on all that we could control, and that was what was in front of us. Now, the one thing I know from my experience in the tournament is you do have to have your staff, some of your students, working on what could happen. That's a natural thing that every team gets involved with. Who could you potentially play in the next round? And if I'm not mistaken, for both Norfolk State and Old Dominion, I think it's Georgia Southern. I think that's already decided. So I'm sure that there'll probably be some prep work going on from Norfolk State standpoint. There'll be some that'll be going on from our standpoint, not a lot. None of our position coaches will be doing anything but Norfolk State work. I won't be doing anything but Norfolk State work. But similar to what you do in the season, Dave, you're always 2-3 weeks ahead of what you're doing, because there's so much work, the data that's got to be inputted into the computer, and scoring summaries that have to be broken down by your student assistants. So I would assume there'll be some of that going on at their place and some at ours. Other than that, I'm not quite sure what else is out there in the bracket.
Well, video exchange shouldn't be a problem this week, so,
No.
You guys gonna be at Moe's this afternoon and do it?
Funny story, back in from 1989, previously there was 16mm film, so you had to drive and exchange, meet somewhere on the highway. Now it's all digital, and Tina and the gang, they just hit a switch and away it goes. There was some interesting stories about 16mm film exchange back in the day.
I bet. Give us one.
And hot splice machines. No, I probably shouldn't.
Brings it up, teases us, walks away.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
We good? All right, guys. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
You're welcome.